Okay, what's up, perps? Coop CNT Designs. I wasn't going to do a video today, but I was looking through what was being said in the United States Congress today, and well, we're going to do a video. As usual, I recommend unloading everything that you have around you and keeping it out of arm's reach. Keep your seat backs in the upright position, all that, while we go through this video. So this is Mr. Dick Durbin speaking on the Senate floor today. Let's go through what my buddy Dick has to talk about. Now he's already been through the 4th of July shooting, standing on top of children that were wounded, standing on top of children whose parents were killed. So let's see what he has to say about these mean old AR-15 rifles. Some like this right here, which is a completely clear gun. But let's see what my buddy's got to say.
To the specks of freedom and independence, stand and salute the tactical
He's talking about a
rifle.
Mossberg ad right now.
We are America's oldest family-owned firearms manufacturer, building dependable, hard-working rifles and shotguns since 1990.
Yep.
American built, American strong. Arm yourself with a Mossberg. That is the type of weapon that shot Cooper Roberts, that killed the parents.
Did he do a video like this for a Ford SUV when homeboy ran through a parade and killed people? That would be a no. So let's see what else he has to say. He's going to get to a very important point here in a minute and a couple seconds, and we're going to go through his very important point.
Of Aidan McCarthy. How is it being marketed? A symbol of independence and freedom.
Yes, because the Second Amendment has jack shit to do with hunting or target shooting. Hunting and target shooting were two things that were done in the past. Hunting done for food, target shooting done for proficiency in arms.
Some of these other ads. Want a proof of your manhood? Consider your man.
So a witty ad from Bushmaster. Hey, it is what it is. What happened to my volume?
Sure, as I said in the hearing yesterday, that these weapons are properly characterized. I'll tell you how I characterize them. The manufacturers of these weapons should be ashamed of what's going.
The manufacturers of these firearms, these weapons, manufacture a product that in most cases has been proven to be sound, safe, and widely used. They're not responsible for people who use their firearms in criminal acts. That's part of what he's getting to, though, because he wants them to be responsible. We watched yesterday, they want to repeal the Legal Commerce and Arms Act.
Happening across America. To suggest that this typifies the values of this country
He'll get to his main point
is
here.
just plain wrong and offensive. It's time for us to name and shame these companies. It's time to hold them accountable for the devastation
Why do
that
I
they make
suddenly
possible.
see scenes of
How many AR-15s are there in America?
Thrones?
We don't really know. The best estimate, 20 million.
They say their best estimate is 20 million. I will bet you vital parts of my anatomy that there are well over 20 million AR-15 style rifles. That's not counting for AKs, G3s, multiple other mutants, CMMG mutants. Yeah.
20 million.
No. Let me tell you why they're sticking on the 20 million number right now. Because there are over 400 million firearms in the United States. Well over 400 million. And they're trying to say that the 20 million number does not make these in common usage. In case you guys don't get that point.
I want to dispel the common talking point we hear from the other side of
Here
the
we
aisle.
go.
We heard it yesterday.
Y'all hang on
They
to your
claim
butts.
that our communities don't need new gun safety laws. All they need are good guys with guns. I wish it were that simple. It's not. In one survey of 433
Here we go.
active shooter attacks, how many were stopped by a good guy with a gun? 22 out of 433, about 5.
He'll say about 5%. Well, why is it only 5%? Well, because you assholes put us in situations that if we are law-abiding citizens, we are disarmed in the areas where the shootings take place. Which again is why I refer to the fact I have a condition where I don't see gun safety signs or gun-free zone signs. My brain doesn't recognize them. And you'll see one right back there. And it hasn't stopped a single gun from walking in my house.
5%. And half of those 22 were security guards and trained law enforcement who were there present on the scene and off duty.
So again, I say this. When you force law-abiding people to be disarmed and then there is a shooting, a mass shooting in that area, and now you're saying that the number of people who have defended against mass shootings is irrelevant because those people were following your laws. And people wonder why I get so pissed at stupid shit like this. I said, I'm tired. I wasn't planning on doing a video today. I wasn't planning on looking at Congress today. But I got home, I decided I'd kill a little time. I'm going to take a nap later, have a good evening, do some more homework, get some more assignments done, and then I run into this moron. It's like putting you in a boxing match where they tie your hands behind your back and out of 400 and something fights, someone actually headbutts someone and they stop the person punching him in the face, and you go, that number's irrelevant because the rest of the people with their hands tied behind their back didn't elbow or freaking headbutt the dude in the face. And he gets on to talk about cars here in a minute. And it is astounding the stupidity of the argument.
Sad reality is when the police come on a scene and somebody's holding a gun, they don't know if
I
it's
forgot
a
about this part.
perpetrator, a danger, or somebody on their side. And in many instances, they shoot the wrong person, making a split-second decision and seeing a...
Yes, the police have shot someone who was actually stopping a shooter. That is shit training for the police. Because a lot of police are completely against American citizens defending themselves and defending others with firearms. They talk about this guy in the mall just last Sunday who stopped a mass shooter. They're more pissed that he walked past a gun-free zone sign with a concealed firearm. I've said it many times. There are arguments that these people make, and it's kind of like trying to put a bad dollar in a Coke machine. If you've ever done that and the dollar just keeps kicking out of the Coke machine, that's where their logic works with my head. My brain just keeps kicking it out because my brain can't understand that level of fucking stupidity. Been a long couple of days, kids. Remember, I watched like 13 hours of these morons testify yesterday to ban assault weapons. I didn't sleep well last night. I hope to God I am wrong, but I really believe these guys will try to pack the Supreme Court and cut the filibuster out and rush through some of these bills before the midterms. I hope to God I am wrong. I don't think I am.
Person holding a gun. So this notion that we're going to come to the rescue of one another and stop mass shootings is not a reality.
Except when someone disobeys a gun-free zone sign and is ready to engage a possible mass shooter. And see, since this moron in that mall only killed 3 people, he will only be counted in some counts for mass shooters.
5% of active shooter attacks stopped by a good guy with a gun. 5%.
Name a mass shooting where the mass shooter just got tired and walked away and stopped shooting. It's always stopped by someone else showing up with a firearm and putting rounds downrange at the mass shooter. That's why they go to gun-free zones. Many of us have said that. I just watched a video from Coley All New War, who does some very serious, good videos. And he's basically speaking on the same thing, only he's not covering good old Dickie Durban speaking on the Senate floor today. He covered some other serious issues. These are people that think a pistol brace like this, they think this operates as a bump stock. They think that, and he gets into, I can't remember whether he got into it before, but he gets into it in a minute, talking about how 223 is this overly powerful round. Why has the military been trying to get away from 223 for decades? Okay, they really only got into 223 or 5.56 in the first place so that soldiers could carry more rounds and they could put more lead in the air to make the enemy put their heads down. Here's another clue. Now, understand, I've never been military. I have studied a lot of military doctrine. The weapons used in military in recent history are made to make someone combat ineffective. That's the reason we use full metal jackets. That's the reason they won't allow our military to use more effective rounds that have much better terminal ballistics. That's the reason we do these little fun games with this round tumbles instead of this round mushrooms, so that we could stay within the Geneva Convention. I promise you, I have much more lethal rounds for my AR than full metal jackets. I believe it's these sitting right here, as a matter of fact. These rounds are meant to mushroom and come apart and do massive internal devastation. A standard 223 round is a varmint round. That's the reason you can't deer hunt with them in most states. It's the reason I went hunting with a 243. I know a lot of people like 243s. I have broadsided deer with a 243 and watched that deer get up and walk past a buddy of mine like nothing happened. But they're saying this round with its high velocity is so deadly. High velocity is a term that these bastards have caught on to because it sounds technical.
Imagine buying a car and being told there's only 5% chance that the airbag will go off if you need it in a crash. You wouldn't take that car out of the dealership, and for good reason.
This argument would be akin to, imagine buying a car where your airbags would only work in 5% of the areas that you go to. Would you buy that car? Like I said, the shit makes me want to choke a fucking Smurf just to see what color the little bastard will turn. They're already blue. I'm just wondering. The pure insanity of these arguments, when you actually look at the history of gun violence or violence that uses guns in America. The insanity of their arguments cannot be understated.
Reason. We heard testimony yesterday from Rand Corporation firearms expert, Dr. Kylan Hunter. She told us that assault weapons make mass shootings significantly more lethal.
Yes, rifle rounds have significantly better terminal velocity than pistol rounds. 9mm pistol. This pistol, especially fired at distance, does not have the terminal ballistics of something that's firing a .223. Yes. However, I own these weapons because I don't want this shit to be a fair fight when someone is trying to kill my family. I want it to be a decidedly unfair fight. These mags are coupled. One mag's downloaded, the second mag's downloaded to 29 rounds to make it easier to actually get the mag in if I have to switch mags with a round in the chamber. For some of you guys, if you don't realize, and I learned this from watching multiple guys, mainly one Warrior Poet Society, it's much easier to download a mag and load on a chamber that has a round in it than to have to really rack a mag home to get that magazine seated when a round is in the chamber. I try to learn these things. These are people that I want to go train with, people that I hopefully be training with in September. That is my plan. If it goes sideways or pear-shaped or tits up, that's on me. But 'tis my plan. And then I want to go do some medical with some guys, some TCCC training. Let's get back to this moron.
The evidence is clear. It's time for us to have a national conversation about America and mass shooting. And let me say the manufacturers shouldn't get off the hook. They aren't just selling another product. Let me show you one that I think is particularly outrageous.
Commerce and Arms.
Sadly, this is in my home state of Illinois. It's a JR-15. It's designed to look like the AR-15, the combat weapon assault rifle.
Okay. I didn't look this gun up yet. I will pretty much guarantee you it is chambered in .22 rimfire. And yes, it is meant to take small children and teach them about firearms, firearm safety, the use of firearms, accuracy, all that. That used to be a very simple thing that was taught in this country to young children, and we didn't have the number of mass shootings that we have now when we actually taught our children about firearms. For those of you who maybe watched this and haven't seen me talk about it before, I have well, now she's going to be 6-year-old and a son that's going to be 3. I talk to them about firearms pretty much on a daily basis. I want my children to know about firearms. I want my children to know firearms aren't toys. I want my children to know what firearms do to living beings. It's the reason my daughter, through deer seasons, has been exposed to deer that have been shot. She has seen entry wounds and exit wounds. She has seen me gut deer and seen what happens to internal organs. I want her to understand that, so that I should hopefully pray to God never have an issue with my children playing with a goddamn gun.
It's lighter, so it can be carried by a kid. Here are the symbols, incidentally, of this gun, JR-15. They're skulls. They're skulls of children. Each one of them has a pacifier in it.
Does he say the same thing about the skull barrettes and hair ties and shit that children get all the time? or the toys that have the skulls and stuff on them like that. It's no different than an adult having a rifle, firearm, whatever that has skulls on it. These shootings are caused by the policies of this government where they have completely destroyed the family. They have completely destroyed our children's ability to cope with adversity. And after destroying the family and destroying their skills to cope with adversity, they are put in adverse conditions and situations, and they end up doing shit like this. This is being completely serious with you guys. A lot of you guys have followed me. I love you guys to death. I see you in chats. I see you in my chats. I see you guys in chats for people like DLD or Flying Rich or John Crump, any number of guys. But it's a conversation that we have to have about what actually causes these young people, in most cases, to go out and try to inflict their pain on other people. Some people may not realize I love psychology. Every psychology class that I've taken throughout my time in school and college, I aced every single one of them. I love those classes. So I do have some idea about what drives people.
Mouth. It isn't just on this poster and on this ad. It's emblazoned on the gun itself. This is a kid's assault weapon. Think about that for a second in America, that we've reached a point where that is even thought of in light of the killing that's taken place.
Okay, one of the first mass shootings I can remember were, I think, two young kids in Arkansas who actually took their squirrel rifles, I believe it was, and started shooting kids in their school. Camoed up, and I'd have to look the shooting up, but I do believe it happened in Arkansas, and they took their regular rifles and decided they were going to kill their classmates. Two twisted little shits. I think it was two. They didn't have ARs. I actually heard, I think it was Tammy Duckworth, in her infinite fucking wisdom, mentioned yesterday that no mass shooter would choose something like a 30-06. One of the original mass shootings, the guy on the bell tower in Texas was using 30 caliber bullets. I think we looked at a 30 caliber carbine. He used a 35 Remington and a couple other 30 caliber guns. I think he even used a 6mm or 6.7 to commit his mass shooting. He was an ex-Marine, had some serious issues.
The hearing yesterday showed an outpouring of people from Highland Park in numbers I'd never expected. I believe there were 100 people there who on their own dime came out to Washington to make sure all of us in Congress knew what happened in Highland Park, how that village and their lives were changed on the 4th of July. What are we going to do about it, Mr. President? Shrug our shoulders and wait for tomorrow's mass shooting? And sadly, we can expect one to come. I listened to the defenses, and frankly,
we can certainly expect another mass shooting to happen, especially if they pass the laws that they want to pass that will disarm more Americans and make them nothing more than walking meat targets for the next person who wants to commit a mass shooting.
I can't understand people trying to defend the right to own an assault rifle in America. One senator argued, well, it's just an inanimate object, you know. Don't blame the object for the results. I wonder if he feels the same way about a grenade launcher. Should people have the right to own grenade launchers?
Let me answer this question for Mr. Dickie Durban. Yes, people should have the right to own grenade launchers, tanks, boats, warplanes, you name it, bombs, everything. If you can own it without wrongfully depriving someone else of life, liberty, or property, then you should be able to own it.
I hope we can all agree that is an incredible thought.
And yes, kids, you can own these things. In some cases, you just have to pay the government their extortion fee so that you can own it without the government trying to come kill you and your family.
And why doesn't this weapon fall into a similar category? A combat army assault weapon that is being used by individuals to kill so many innocent people in this country. Just kill them at a concert in Las Vegas.
Again, you set people up to be unarmed meat targets, and then you blame the unarmed meat targets when they get killed by a mass murderer. And in almost every single case I can think of, these mass murderers were known to the federal government before they committed said crime, or crimes, plural. We watch armed police officers, in many cases, withdraw from a situation where we have a shooter actively killing people, and you want us to rely on the government having these so-called weapons of war, and you say that we can't have them. In the hearing yesterday, there were quite a few Republicans who actually listed out a lot of situations where people have used AR-15s, AKs, and other guns that these people want to ban to defend their life, their liberty, their property, and their loved ones. And Democrats blow that off. Because again, they get back to, well, it doesn't happen that often. Well, it happens millions of times a year. Way more than firearms are used to murder innocent people. I'm gonna stop this right here. You guys understand, and I want you guys to understand. We are in a serious fight for our rights at this time. I mean, we have been for a while. But do not underestimate what these Democrats will do to pass the laws that they want to pass. I will be amazed if they don't pack the Supreme Court. I will be amazed if they don't shove through this assault weapons ban before the 2022 elections. And I will be amazed, and I've already watched today where another Democrat wants to pass laws that will make them will make it easier for them to cheat in the next election, because the only way they can win on their ideals is they have to cheat. So anyway, you guys be cool. I'm going to stop this one right here. I'm going to post it in just a minute, and I'm going to try to chill out for a few. Y'all be cool. Keep that thing on you at all times. You see one of those signs back there? It's got the gun through with the slash through it. Develop the same condition that I have, where you don't see them. Develop the same condition that this recent guy had, where he did not see that, because he refused to be an unarmed victim or an unarmed meat target. And he saved lives. Y'all be cool. I'm out.